Welcome back. I have a roster role. So let me invite you to the last panel of the evening. We have been talking about collaboration a lot. And what I really found that, each session is setting a stage for the next session, which is great. We talked about collaborative workflows in the last session. We talked about collaboration within the industry in the last session. And we also talked about moving up the value chain, which means the new business models or new ways of doing business. I have a panel, esteemed panel with us. Let me invite Rajan Iyer, Managing Director of Trimble India. Rajan, please take a seat. Rajan is, of course, all of you know him as a Managing Director for Trimble India. He's been leading this company for in India for last almost 15 years. And a lot of Trimble, which you see today in India, is been under his leadership. Otherwise, before him, there was about 3 people, Trimble India, and now there are 1,500 people, Trimble India. So that's a big team which Trimble has in India. Allow me to welcome Sajid Mukhtar, who is the chairman of Rotor Group of Companies. Sajid is well-known business leader in our industry, and I would also like to give a lot of credit to his father and grandfather. Sajid represents a company which was founded sometime in 1935. 35, 36, if I... 36. So he represents a company, Rotor Group, which is 1936, and probably the first company in India to manufacture surveying tools. And since then, he's been leading this company. It's one company which has done a lot of indigenization in terms of hardware manufacturing. Allow me to bring Saurabh Rai. Saurabh Rai is Global Head of Analytics and Strategic Initiatives, Tech Mahindra. Saurabh, please take a seat.
Thank you.
And I would also like to welcome a guest, Dr. Raj Khatri. He just retired as Additional Chief Secretary, but I really love him for his passion of this industry and this technology. And Dr. Raj is a medical doctor, by the way. He's not a PhD doctor. He's a medical doctor and IAS. And he has led the geospatial in state of Karnataka in last few years and come to the state of, I'm very proud of the fact that they are the first state to go and implement geospatial knowledge infrastructure concept being developed by United Nations and our company together. No, I'll be good here. So, as I said, the theme of this panel is more about collaborative workflows and business model transformation. And what we saw about value and whatever we have been discussing since morning about the value in the economy and society. So value is not in data. Value is in making use of the data and making some solutions. That's when you deploy those solutions and then you create some value. And that's one step. And second step is transforming business models a bit, which was discussed in the last session as well, that what is the new business models, or somebody says information as a service is a business model, or analytics as a service as a business model. So in this backdrop, I would request our panelists to make their opening statements, and I'll go with Rajan first.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Can everyone hear me? I just moved this thing.
We can hear you.
It's okay, all right, okay. So the first advantage of being the last panel is you can gather all the expert comments from before and try to make it original. So that's what I'll try to do. No, I'm just kidding.
Data processing. Data processing.
Yes. So this is a very interesting topic. I think I was telling Sanjay earlier that he has put all the keywords in this panel topic: collaborative, workflows, transformative. And this is something coincidentally what Trimble is trying to do actually. Everybody knows that Trimble started out as a hardware company selling GPS survey equipment, but given where the trend of the industry is going and the importance of geospatial technology in every sphere. Basically, you take the physical Earth and using geospatial technology, you map a digital twin, as we call it, right? Convert it completely into a digital world and kind of go transparently and go very smoothly between the two worlds. Requires us to become very collaborative, requires us to understand the workflow of our customer business, and also transform the way our customers work, actually. So I think this is a very apt topic for Trimble. Very punchy, but all are very critical: collaborative workflows and transformative. And collaboration, why collaboration? Because collaboration gives us the connect and scale that is needed. Geospatial is moving from a niche technology, which is going from a nice to have to absolutely needed. As Dr. Reddy and Dr. Kiran Kumar earlier talked about, and all the other panelists talked about, the importance of geospatial. It was always considered a poor cousin of IT, but now it is now very central. I mean, if you look at all the efforts that are going in terms of infrastructure build out, agriculture, urban development, smart cities, utilities, land administration, and the importance of doing this in a very environmentally sustainable way. ESG, is the new buzzword. In an environmentally sustainable way. I mean, India cannot develop world-class infrastructure if you are not environmentally sustainable. And we all know, coming from Chennai, we saw the effect of environment, what the environment can do in terms of the rains and the floods. So we have to become very environmentally sensitive. If you have to do that, then geospatial technology has to be applied across all the stakeholders. So that is where the collaborative means. Collaborative actually has two connotations. One is within Trimble. We used to have different divisions sell similar products to the same customer and actually confuse the customer. But now we are in the process of having one point of contact with the customer and telling them the entire story. So collaborative within Trimble, but also collaborative at the customer level, at the stakeholders level. If you take construction industry, you have architects, you have designers, you have detailers, you have contractors, you have owners, you have engineering design consultants, you have project management consultants, and finally you have the operation and management people, right? And everybody has a different objective. The contractor always wants to do the work as fast as possible, as cheap as possible, and as much within a budget as possible, and actually ask for cost overruns on top of it. If you look at the owner, they say, well, I've given contract at a particular level, and all I'm interested in is the end product. If you look at the engineering design consultants, he wants to use the best tools to deliver the information to the owner in the best and the fastest possible manner. If you look at the O&M people, I mean, they actually get to hold the bucket in the sense that they have to operate and maintain and actually develop it further. So if you look at Delhi Airport, I mean, you saw all the construction that's happening. I mean, we were talking to L&T, and they had a real difficult time figuring out what's where. Every time they used to rip open something unexpected used to crop up because they didn't have a digital map. And if they had one, L&T didn't have it, as an example, right? So collaboration is very key. Second is understanding the workflow. That is very important because it gives us the complete picture of what the customer is trying to do, what the different stakeholders are trying to do. Initially, Trimble did not have that kind of a concept because the surveying guy used to go and sell the best total station and the GNSS receiver. The construction guy would say, put machine control on your machine and everything will go very smoothly. The BIM guy used to say, you create a 3D BIM model and everything will be fine. So the customer is really scratching their head. By the way, many customers are still doing that. Although they believe in the technology, they say, can you talk to the engineering consultant? Can you talk to the project management consultant? Can you push your solution to the contractor? I don't want anything to do with it. Because they are so confused by all these things. So I think understanding the workflow and explaining to them is very key. And the third part is transformation, because new technology means transformation, right? I mean, look at COVID. In the last 2 years, most of us have been living in a virtual world. Even though I very much don't like virtual video conference and things like that. I would like to have face-to-face meeting, but we are kind of adapting ourselves to that concept, right? Similarly, and then what happened was, I mean, we could really clearly see that when we adopted that virtual world, our productivity went down initially. We were really worried, I mean, our engineering staff and our sales staff, because they could not meet the customer, they could not innovate and so on. The productivity, the innovation level, everything went down initially, but then it is now beginning to pick up. People have kind of gotten used to working in a virtual world, storyboarding in a virtual world, and trying to meet the customers virtually, many cases, doing partnership virtually and so on. So I think it is kind of, the adoption curve is kind of moving in a direction where, people are seeing the productivity improvement. Similarly, I think this kind of transformation will have to happen in any customer that wants to adopt digitization, that wants to map the physical world to the digital world, and then be able to go from between each other very in a very smooth fashion, in a very transparent fashion. They have to change some of the ways they work. They cannot adopt the same old business as usual, but they have to retrain some of the staff. So if you want to use BIM 3D, 4D, 5D, you need to have a concept of a BIM department across the board, right? As more as a horizontal function where they apply standard BIM technologies, whether it is for vertical or horizontal construction, as an example. So the transformative nature is very important. So these are all inevitable. They are going to happen. Now, Sanjay also threw in another one, which is called business models. Frankly, everybody is going to an asset-light model, right? There was a time when a construction company used to pride itself in how many bulldozers and how many excavators and how many motor graders they used to have. Today, they want to say, I want to rent everything. I don't want to have this on my books, because the technology is changing so rapidly, they want to be able to get you the latest. Similarly, they don't want to have a bunch of total stations lying around. They want to be able to rent it. So Trimble is coming with this concept called everything as a service, XaaS, everything as a service. I mean, hardware, software, services, and so on. So I think this calls for some new business models, basically focusing on deeper customer penetration, longer customer engagement, thinking about the total value that we bring to the customer and so on, called TCV, total customer value. And longer periods of engagement. And interestingly, the Wall Street and the Dalal Street, everybody is, the D Street, right? Yeah. Everybody is giving more weightage and more premium to XaaS. I mean, they are saying longer customer engagement, more annuity revenues means you get higher premium. So, so that's going to happen. But at the same time, the customer should also be willing to engage with a vendor and not treat them as a vendor, but really engage them in understanding the technology, in transforming their internal business processes, and really making the vendor work as a trusted advisor, if you will, right? Trimble would love to be a trusted advisor to a construction company, a contractor, or an owner, an airport project owner, or a railway project owner, and really work from them from the basement to the top. We want to enter at the basement level, not even at the ground floor level, but at the concept level, and work with them saying that this is how you do digital transformation. So I think those are some of the new business models that we need to think about.
Thank you, Rajan, for setting the tone of the session, which is about collaborative workflows and business models. And yes, you definitely brought California here for some time. So let's move forward with our next speaker, Sajid. Sajid, how do you think that the collaboration and business models are aligning and helping you?
Do I get my opening remarks first?
You do.
Okay.
Nature, right?
All right. Sanjay is a clever guy, I was looking at the logo here, and when you see the Tripundra, that is the 3 stripes of Shiva, I actually went back to my Sanskrit classes. I've been groomed by a Pandit scholar for Sanskrit. So Tripundra, as soon as you put a sikha, that is the choti on the top of it, you actually convert it into money, because that is Chanakya. And I know he's very fond of Chanakya, so he has willingly put that Chanakya and Shiva together so that, businessmen like me get attracted towards JioSmart like that. So
That's a good interpretation.
Tripundra, actually 3 stripes that you have put in, determined by Lord Shiva as, in Sanskrit, Ichha Shakti, Janana Shakti, and Karya Shakti. That mean a will, knowledge, and knowledge put into action. So I come from a family of a freedom fighter who was jailed between the world wars in British times. In 1936, he came out in a place called Roorkee, where the Ganga Canal was getting built. And he had that will to go against the Britishers, pretty annoyed by them. And he started developing or doing Jugaad engineering in what we call reverse engineering now, for the instruments which we used to import from Stanley, London in those times for levels. It was actually replicating the water pipe hose into levels. Simple technology. As we grew in 3 generations, my father came into picture in 1954, and he started with optomechanical systems, replicating all the other traditional technology, starting from plane table, chain edge offset to transits. When I came into picture, I was actually, few people know that I started my career with Carl Zeiss Jena in Germany, who were doing surveying instruments then. Not many of the Carl Zeiss people will know that they were doing surveying instruments then. Came back to India with a modern technology platform of optomechanical systems, and started with automatic levels, and then EDMs, electronic theodolites, total station henceforth, and then the GNSS. So what we had in the will to do, we acquired knowledge on the way, and then we put that knowledge into action. That is the Tripundra that I can see. And that answers to a lot of deliberations that happen throughout the day today, where we sit and crib about what government is giving us, what we can do, what we cannot do, policies or whatever network. No, there's nothing stopping an entrepreneur. There's absolutely nothing that can stop you in this world. Being an Indian, living here, me and we are only 2 brothers. My brother went off to United States, he's an American citizen. I stayed back in India, and I think I'm more successful than him in my country, in my atmosphere, or in my environment. We started with very traditional background of surveying instruments. That means we had limited resources, we had limited knowledge, and we had no platform for invention. And that I realized very early in my life. So I went looking for the best engineering in the world, and I found that in Germany. So my first collaboration was in Germany, and I started with the best of the engineering. Now, it's very easy to say that you go to Germany and have a platform. You need to look for partners who can develop a platform for you. So we decided to work with Fraunhofer Research Institutes, one of the largest research institutes in the world, having 67 branches, one of them working with us for the LiDAR in those days. And today we are having 3 LiDARs which are state-of-the-art and for very niche technologies. I started working early with a British company, MDL, Steve Ball, probably Rajan would be knowing better because they acquired that company later on as Trimble. That was the first mobile mapping system that we introduced in India in 2008, 2009. We did the first Almaty project FRL survey with that equipment. And then it was later taken on by Carlson and by Renishaw, then Carlson, then Trimble. It's now a Trimble company. Anyway, collaborations, yes, they help you attain what our powerful Prime Minister Modi is saying now, making you Atmanirbhar. Now, I have 2 definitions of Atmanirbhar. I have my own. My own definition is, do we go back and invent the wheel again? No. We live with the world. where the wheel is already invented, the car is already moving, we make solution based on that. So that's how I started making those solutions, owning that IPs, bringing them back to India, and now that is made in India. So that is what I call that's making me self-reliant, making my country self-reliant. We went abroad, acquired companies in Germany, in United States. Sanjay knows it well. Solid engineering companies doing work in those domains that we can't, or we were having lesser knowledge or absolutely no knowledge or platform. Through all the collaborative workflow that we have reached today, we are now 7 companies group. And it was not possible for us to reach where we are right now if we wouldn't have taken this workflow of collaborations with different technologies available all over the world. The idea is to bring it back home, to build something for Indian customer and make it available at a very economical price. That is what we are seeing for last 3 years. We brought drones. We started working on drones in 2012. And then my partner, DJ, he's sitting here, so he designed the first fixed wing, and we started talking with him for the first fixed wing, which is now being used by Survey of India. And it's one of the most successful drone, capturing kilometers, square kilometers every single day. And Survey of India people can tell you better. So an engineering marvel, but then we develop it further. We never stopped developing that product. We are still developing as I'm talking to you. The next generation of drones, which is coming in March, will have an AI on board, and it will have a blue architecture, which we are working right now. So yes, through collaborations, through that workflow, we are what we are as on date, talking to you sitting here. But next time, don't put this Chanakya with Shiva. Shiva is all powerful. He doesn't need a Chanakya to go out.
Thank you, Sajid. Thank you very much for your remarks. I think that's great to hear your experience and your story of collaborations as the kind of enabler for you to build and expand your portfolio and make it more relevant in solutions. So allow me to move to the third speaker, which is Saurabh Rai. He's been with the Geospatial Media. Proudly so. He started his career with us, but then he moved to CSGM Hill, then he went to Accenture, and now he works for Tech Mahindra. In between, he also had a startup. So Saurabh brings a lot of experience in terms of delivering big projects. So I think collaboration suits pretty much to you.
Thanks, Sanjay. I would repeat my fellow panelists, being the last panel of the day, it's always easy to cut, copy, paste, recycle for all good reasons. we heard the value of recycling earlier by Dr. Mohan Reddy, and not reinventing the wheel. And also not reinventing the wheel, which we just heard. Now, and as Sanjay described, I have seen the journey from different vantage points. Being a fresher, doing advocacy when GIS was just about, I won't say even taking baby steps, it was hardly crawling, to a very vibrant community that I see today of startups, buoyed with all the new policies and directives that are here. And I've done all the running around, people who know, working with NICs and Survey of India's and NRSA for silliest of permissions, to seeing a day when we are out of our cage, as you may say. So, and the world is big. At the same time, I am hearing my fellow colleagues and entrepreneurs from past talking about that we don't have scale. Can we go and compete with the behemoths? Can we go and find that infra? Can we go and find those big data stores to manage at scale the kind of GIS required today? I mean, we just heard a panelist talking about, I have a use case, a great use case for insurance. How do I make it work for want of money? Where is the ROI? And then, needless to say, COVID has brought us, among all bad things, at least there's one good thing that has happened. The war for talent has intensified. So we are short of people. We are short of people who are skilled, and we are extremely short of people who bring that transformational cap or transformational skills in their armory. So we touched upon AI ML, we touched upon everything which is analytics, we touched upon even basics like great surveys. Now, again, does everybody need to reinvent the wheel? Perhaps the answer is no. The answer lies in collaboration, and then every company has its own ROI to protect. Each one of us have some shareholder and shareholder value to answer for. The answer then comes with new operating models, new business models. It might be your offerings, which are new business model, everything as a service. It can be data as a service, but it can also be a collaborative workflow as a service. So for instance, and I'll talk of Tech Mahindra. We are decent sized. We have a lot of elements that are in short supply in the country today. We also have scale and we also have export presence. And that brings us in a position where we can play the glue, motivate some of the younger startups to come up the curve, show them bigger markets, collaborate with some of our esteemed partners here to bring offerings coming out of India that are truly world-class. And at the same time, and I loved somebody earlier said that when you talk of India business in India, we need people who are pro bono consultants coming from the likes of AGI and others who sit with the government functionaries who are able to solve for some of the challenges and be that interface point. And this is the third place where all of us can jointly collaborate and grow the India market. And that would bring collective bargaining in a positive sense when it comes to the geospatial industry as such. So those are my thoughts to begin with, and I hand it over to Sanjay.
Thank you, Saurabh, for talking about using the term as collective bargaining. I think seems to be a little negative term, but it's a very good term, because if you want to really do something, it has to be a bargain in terms of what is the value which you are bringing on the table and what you are asking from the other side of the table. We all heard about skills, so let's hear Raj Khatriji. He is kind of leading a innovation center. He's trying to develop an innovation center in Karnataka and developing a Karnataka state geospatial strategy, something like that.
At the outset, I must thank Sanjay and Professor Kiran Kumar sir, who is right here. Why so? Because being in government service for 33 years, it took me years together to realize that I have been using geospatial technologies in so many sectors for so many years. And where is the common thread? When they initiated me into seeing the whole picture about a couple of years back, I realized I was using it for the allotment of school rooms in Jila Panchayats, developing the urban planning for Bangalore 2031, land survey, labor cess collection improvement, drone survey of lands, and so many.
Wow.
Friends, I'll come to collaboration straight. There are three possible kinds of broad collaborations which are possible. One is, which we easily understand, government and business. There's another, business and business. And the third is the business and academia. And all three aspects, if we don't move forward, I'm saying the industry doesn't move forward, the chances of shining out against your big cousin or big brother, which Rajan said, which could be the construction engineers or the IT experts, are very slim. When we talk of, since I have the more of authority for speaking for the government tenders and the government works, I can tell you two big hurdles which will be there for time to come. Number one, there are no champions for geospatial technologies per se in the state governments. Luckily, the central government has seen some kind of activity in the last couple of months with the draft policy and the liberalization. Secondly, when the tender is given, we look at only the big partner, the lead partner. And the geo services provider has not been the lead partner in many of the projects. So be it the urban planning, be it the agriculture, insurance, as some of them the speaker mentioned in the last panel. So there, first, if you do not collaborate between business and business, because there I feel, this is my personal opinion, there is a temptation on the part of every business enterprise to get the quick results. You have to look at the common good that is waiting for you, but slightly at a distant future. Collective good, but it may not be immediate. If you do not do it, you will not be able to forge a meaningful, forceful, and as Sanjay also put it, lobbying, good side of lobbying with the governments. The easier one is business and academia, and particularly to address the skill part of it. Because I could see many of the panelists repeating, and Sanjay has reiterated that the skill is one of the key thing in the geospatial sector. And fortunately, with the guidance of Professor Kiran Kumar sir, we made a beginning in one of the universities, that is VTU, which has more than 200 engineering colleges, and now they have a postgraduate course also, wherein Department of Space and the blessings of ISRO, everybody was there. So this is one collaboration which can take us forward. On the business remodeling, I would like you to recall some of those days when we were starting PPP models. So that time Niti Aayog was not there, its precursor was there. And we did several reiterations of PPP. The first draft of public-private partnership and the 10th draft were totally different. There were many civil servants who were accused, they were penalized for not assessing the situation correctly. So whether it was a kind of intentionally they did it, or was it a genuine mistake on the part of sense of judgment. So from that situation, we have come to a much more refined model of PPP. The same thing applies in one way or the other to the geospatial projects also. That's my personal feel. So I don't think I can give you a very quick solution that within 2 years this thing can happen, 3 years it can happen, but it's a long journey. But if collectively, if we talk about, let's say 5 years from now, this is my roadmap, and every year we need to achieve this particular milestone. For example, the Uttarakhand example was given. So the Chief Secretary, the present Chief Secretary of Uttarakhand is my batchmate Sukhbir, who used to handle the national highways. So he is one of my colleagues who slightly understands it better. But will he have time to understand that 8 packages?
No.
Or to go deep into that is a key question. And that's a big challenge for you, because then you are fighting against the Rock of Gibraltar. There's no way out. And then you will say, though, the packages are not they are poorly drafted. So here is the collaborations that the AGI or maybe the association or the group of industries, you keep communicating with the decision makers and as well as the auditors. Because at the end of it, at the end of any project, the project implementer will always think in the post-mortem, what are the questions that are going to be asked. So why not I address it now? So friends, I'll just sum it in a line saying that collaborations are inevitable. There's no question. I think there's no debate on, there should not be any debate on it that the collaborations are required or not. And secondly, the business as usual which is going on now is not the answer. We have to go for a revised model of the business. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Khatri, for putting so articulated manner about what we need to do. Is there any question from the audience? I'll be very happy to take, or I can ask questions to the audience if they're sleeping or. Pulkit, you have a question?
Hello.
Yeah, it works.
Hello. Yeah. So my question is, you mentioned about X as a service as a business model. How do you differentiate that with subscription as a business model? Are they discrete or are they same?
Yeah.
See, subscription is one form of, everything as a service, right? So I would like to differentiate between the two. So yeah, you can have subscription as one part of the service, but really, the XaaS is actually a superset because this includes things like consulting services. This includes things like, being a trusted advisor, being part of the roadmap of the customer, how you want to do the digital transformation. So those are not necessarily subscription model, but subscription of a software or a hardware or, so that can be subsumed into it. The
Thank you
whole
very much.
idea is to make the adoption curve much faster, so that you don't saddle the customer with a lot of capex at the beginning, because that's when people take a step back. But if they, for example, one of the thing could be milestone-based payments, right? Being a trusted advisor, you say, okay, if you achieve this much by your design stage, if you achieve this much savings, then you pay me so much. We tried some of those in some of the airport projects abroad. So there are different business models. There is even possibility of sharing the cost savings once you can quantify it. So I would say the XaaS is more of a superset.
Yeah. And if I may
Subscription is definitely included in
Yeah.
it.
If I may just add there a bit, if you look at IT, and I know IT here is a slightly a feared word,
No,
but
no.
larger IT, you are already moving into that turf. I mean, talk of transformation. I have to commit 10 to 15 to 20% transformation year after year after year. How do I transform? Is same AI, ML, same automation, the skill set a challenge? Very interesting commercial propositions. I mean, that's what you have to give. Totally outcome-oriented services, and that takes into account. So we are not very far in geospatial world that if we don't adapt, don't change, our clients will force us to change.
Thanks, Saurabh. IT is not a threat to us. It's an enabler to our industry, and it's a big customer to our industry as well. The digital map consumption by IT companies is phenomenal. And if you look at, I want to just cite, without naming the company, a company which has partnered with, say, Autodesk, SAP, Amazon, Salesforce. Just name those big IT enterprises. It has partnered with each one of them to just embed its software capability inside and made at least from 1 million to probably 100 million consumers. So that's the
right.
kind of value of the workflows.
I'd like to look at IT as a big brother in a positive and a negative way. Positive because they can open the doors for us and you just go in with them, right? For example, Trimble just signed a multi-year agreement with Microsoft, and we are hoping that they will be able to open doors for us that would not have been possible for us. So in that sense, a big brother is always useful. But then
Caring big
there is
brother.
a downside of it also.
Caring
We all
big brother.
have big brothers.
Yeah, and just a very interesting point. You see, we all know the story of something eating an ant and that animal being eaten by somebody else. and somehow we as a company sit in the middle. I work in geospatial with almost all the hyperscalers, some of them you know. And at the same time, I have a turf to protect for myself,
That's right.
for the services business. And at the same time, I want to do everything that Emanian and my other colleagues want to do. So actually, it's what you rightly pointed, it's an enabler and you can do it. It's just a model, and the only surest way of doing it is collaborating and having that vision. What sir said is 5 years hence, 3 years hence. Don't look for instant gratification and you'll succeed.
So Saurabh, I have a question to you on that line itself is, you and many more IT companies are doing a good amount of export of geospatial services, but they are very almost minimal or zero presence in India. With the new policy guidelines, do you see companies like Tech Mahindra or Infosys making investments in the geospatial market in India as well?
Absolutely, Sanjay. It's not just me, but I can even say that hyperscalers are looking at it very, very curiously and seriously. Now, again, this opens, so Tech Mahindra, of course, we have a significant India presence because of Mahindra Group, our Mahindra Defense, the whole 5G that we do for the world. But so for us, it's more of a home turf. But I can tell you that my more illustrious peers are also very actively looking at it. And I'm very certain that you'll see action in months, if not years to come.
Thanks, sir. Sajid, I have a question to you is that how do you think that you can actually further strengthen or, enlarge or expand your manufacturing capabilities and more technology upgradation within your mission?
Okay, let's start from Henry Ford. So when he came into picture, he changed the manufacturing in the world. So he introduced the assembly line concept of manufacturing, and that was an industrial revolution then, right? And after that, we have seen certain burst of growth, and the present spurt has been tagged as the fourth industrial revolution that you call 4IR. So what is happening? It's actually integrating the use of data from numerous sensors. So every manufacturer is doing that. Not necessarily producing everything from the scratch, okay? So now we are talking about IoTs, we are talking about artificial intelligence, we are talking about machine learning algorithms and all. So based on this, and of course, I was listening to Dr. Nayak earlier on, and he was mentioning the corporate responsibility of the social responsibility, the cultural responsibility, and the environmental responsibility. And of course, in my company, we actually take Artha in the true sense of value. So we have started looking into production on assembly line, working basically on the AI and ML right now. So we are responsible to give, to develop the skill in the next generation. We are responsible to build equipment in India which are made in India. We are responsible to give away our knowledge to the next generation so that they can actually go forward. So Rotor is now coming up with the Rotor Aviation Academy. Rotor is also coming up with Rotor Geospatial Academy. Probably next year onwards, these two academies will be operational, where we'll have expertise delivered to the new students who are lacking behind in LiDAR or geospatial industry, that whatever we have learned in the last 30, 35 years, we'll give it back. And of course, the new factory that we are now building up in Uttarakhand will be based on the Prime Minister's commitment of net zero. So it will be the first net zero emission factory in India. That is what we have now. We have changed the whole platform after his statement, and we have now changed the whole architecture of the building. So yes, we are taking our social, cultural, and environmental responsibility and going to the next step where we are very strong. And we are, as Indians, I think, very strong in the brains here. So we may need the platforms. Platforms are available all over the world. We may need sensors. They are available all over the world. We don't have to go back and invent them. We have to put them into solutions. You were there with me a couple of months back in Intergeo, right? How many, tell me how many tripods you saw in the booths. They were all surveying instrument company. Even on a Trimble booth, there was not even one tripod. So what is happening? People are moving away from instruments. They are not bothered about, all the geospatial engineers and all, they are bothered about solutions. And each and every company like Leica from Hexagon or Trimble or big giants, they are only offering solutions. They're not offering instrument per se, that okay, you take the course network. No. For Survey of India also, they are building up the whole system with the deliverance of data till that end, not only supplying them the hardware. So things are changing. That's what we are doing now.
Yeah. Anyone who has a question in the audience, please raise your hands and I'll definitely come back to you, to the panel, if anyone has any questions. There is a gentleman in the corner. Yes.
Hi everyone, I am Saurabh Vijay. I'm a faculty at IIT Roorkee. Since we understand there should be a relationship between academia and industry, and we do have structured PhD programs. So I would like to ask all of you, have you engaged yourself so that we can jointly supervise PhDs? Because we have this system going on, like every faculty has 2 or 3 PhD students. But we know that from the government we have very limited scholarships. So maybe we can enhance that and maybe we can identify problems and find a solution. So have you engaged yourself or are you planning to significantly increase that relationship? So that's my question. Thank you.
Yes, Ajit, you did that experience in
We have
Germany,
already
so
done that
would you like
with,
to take it?
Professor Garg, PK Garg from Geomatics departments from the IIT Roorkee. Yes, so that's what we have already pursued and we are going ahead with it next year. Okay, then he will tell you the story.
And Rajan, and do you think that you're going to invest into some kind of a scholarship or industry incubation engagements?
Yeah, so not scholarship directly, but we have engaged with IIT Madras and also IIT Delhi on various construction management related solutions. We have set up a lab in IIT Madras that is focusing on BIM based solutions, and we have given them software and hardware and so on. We are also contributing as part of our CSR into startups because especially IIT Madras has a very strong ecosystem. We have contributed to startups in IIT Madras, but also we are looking at other IITs and NITs going forward. Now in the US, we have instituted a scholarship called Miss Gladys, who was one of the pioneer black women who was instrumental in geodesy. And so we have instituted a scholarship in her university in Virginia. So hopefully we will extend that going forward as part of our Trimble Foundation work. But I absolutely agree that industry academia collaboration is one of the key things that, as Dr. Khatri mentioned, it's going to be very important going forward because you have to train the young minds to think differently.
Yes.
Because they are the future and they're going to bring you the future opportunities. So yeah, we are very much involved and we would like to further expand.
Rajan, before I go to have a quick final words from you, I have a question to you. What would actually make you convince your management to invest in India, in make in India and manufacture in India and serve the Indian Ocean countries?
Big market.
This is big market.
20% preference.
This is big market.
No, actually, we do manufacture some equipment in India, especially our telematics equipment, because we saw the scale. We are the #1 player. We have 250,000 units under management, and 250,000 units, and all those were manufactured in India. In fact, we were thinking of even exporting it at some point. So I think the way to convince is that we have to talk about Make in India as a part of the Trimble strategy, Trimble India strategy, and what is the advantage of that, in terms of government tenders or businesses and advantages. The second thing is probably Trimble will not invest directly, but through some contract manufacturing. So that's something I have proposed, saying that either you invest in some contract manufacturers that will help expand the base in India, and maybe other countries around the region, Southeast Asia, Africa, and so on. But we need to convince them that there is a big market. You see, some of our technologies are very new and cutting edge, and so if they don't see a big market in India or surrounding areas, then it becomes very difficult to justify to the management, because they have, frankly, such a big market in the US and Europe. They say, what is my return on investment? Everybody is looking at return on investment. But I think you will see Trimble getting more involved in manufacturing in the next 5 years
My
or
question
so.
was more triggered because you are already struggling with the supply chain challenges. So why not to look at India as a source of supply for you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I mean, that is possible, but I haven't done a good job. Maybe I'll take you to Rob Painter and you can convince him. The key thing is volume, right? For them, you know, they have manufacturing in Taiwan and Mexico, and definitely they are looking at China plus one, given all the situations around. And definitely India is definitely in the running, but we haven't, you know, a lot of it is hearsay, you know, oh, you know, there are logistical issues in India, infrastructure is an issue, power is an issue, and automatically everybody backs off. So, but I think that you will see in the next 5 years, Trimble will be more committed.
Thank you, Rajan.
And Make in India with all the advantages will definitely be a catalyst.
Thanks, Rajan. I think this was great. So I will go for the final words. Quick 30 seconds from you, Dr. Raj Khatri.
On the last point, that the industry and academia, why should they come together? I would say that there's a distinct advantage that such center of excellence or the academic initiatives become viable. And at the same hand, on the other hand, the industry gets the industry-ready kind of employees. And I would just like to leave the thought that in 1995, when I was serving as Jila Panchayat CEO, we had to distribute 40 school rooms in the district, that where they should be located. And please bear me out, in early 90s, 1995, 94, GIS came into picture, and I had visited Asian Institute of Technology and spent some time. When I came back, I prepared a map of the district and plotted where are the schools, and then draw the circles where the children had to move 10 kilometers, 5 kilometers, like that.
Yeah.
And I presented that to my Jila Panchayat. This is just like a mini parliament where you have ruling party, you have the opposition. They all boycotted me.
That's the beauty of transparency. That's the beauty of transparency.
So for 1 month, the struggle was that as CEO, I was competent under one section of the Act to refer that resolution to the government, which I was sure that the government will
Turn it down.
turn it down. And here is the 60 to 70 elected representatives who are saying, no, Dr. Khatri, these rooms will be distributed according to this list prepared by the politically elected people. So after 1 month of fight, and luckily having a good district minister, 50-50 was the decision.
Compromise.
So collaboration was there.
So one, I wanted to link that to this topic, and also to give you a feeler that when I spoke certain things in my opening remarks, which looked a bit pessimistic, that there's a long way to go. So you can see that from 1995 to now, we have attained a lot. And within a span of 3 to 5 years, with effective collaborations and
Yeah.
with the kind of leaders that we have, thought leaders with us, we will be able to achieve significantly much more. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Khatri. Let me go to Sajid.
Well, at the end, I would like to again go back from where I started. And I would start with that this is no more an India of Gandhi. It's changing. So it's Gandhi's India is changing. Now we have a will to go and nip the mole in the hole whenever we want, right? So this is an India where the decisions are taken very effectively, and we have seen that in the past for last 4 or 5 policies that have come up. So we know that the political will is there, and we are lacking behind. We have a visionary guy. So I'll just go back to the 4th generation that we started from. My grandfather made it because of the country. So my father probably made it because he wanted to earn money, and he wanted to build a house, probably buy a car. So he earned money for that. And when I came, so I already had a car, I already had a house. So I just worked for the lifestyle, or maybe for collaborations or whatever. And coming back to a full circle, now my son has everything, a car and lifestyle and a house and everything. So what he's working was what my grandfather was working in 1936. So he's now again going with the MOD trials, he's going for, the Indian Army, and we're doing stuff there. But to close it, we all have to go back to our country, and we have to place the country first.
Yeah.
Money, I very seriously feel it's a byproduct. It automatically comes if you are doing something correct. And I'll end with the remarks of Siri. Siri made a very good remark in his talk that we all have to collaborate. Siri, you are not listening to me. I think you're too busy in your phone. Okay.
उसका टाइम आ गया है.
Yeah. Time आ गया?
मतलब नो वाला नहीं, उसने he gave a campaign, अपना टाइम आ गया.
अपना time.
So I'll go with him. I'll second his thought that yes, we all have to collaborate, and the business model needs to be built up based on our country and our country's requirement. Thank you.
Thank you, Sajid. Rajan, what are your 30 seconds of
I
wisdom?
thought I've already spoken enough, but
Okay, we'll take your message to the decision makers.
I'll let
So,
Mr. Rai speak first, and if I have
Saurabh?
any thoughts, I'll let you know.
Well, to my friend from IIT Roorkee, yesterday when I landed here, I got a good news that after the first day of your campus hiring, we got 5 selects and all 5 accepted. Guess what? I tasked immediately my team that all these 5 good people have to go and do geospatial analytics for us. I hired them for analytics. I'm putting them into geospatial analytics for very simple reason. This industry institute collaboration is the beginning point. The strategy has to be bottoms up. And while we are talking digital twins, guys, soon we'll be talking of the virtual whatnot with metaverse and all the imaginative things that are coming in the world. So prepare the competency here in India. The war for talent is there. The outcome is assured. And we as Tech Mahindra want to reduce your fear of big IT. We are there to embrace all the startups, everybody who wants a collaborative business model, everybody who wants to grow along with us, share us in the journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Saurabh, and thank you to all the panelists. I think we had a great day beginning at about 10 or 10:30, and it was a wonderful day. I just wanted to congratulate each panelist and the delegates over here. We ran today in a very impromptu manner. There was no scripting, there was no questions shared with any panelists, there was no, worksheets with the moderators. It was a great day of engagement and great day of, interaction. I think we've got a lot of insights, and those insights are actually kind of, reflection of what you are doing. Whatever you said is the kind of reflection what you're doing, and all these small viewpoints make a national viewpoint, make a national strategy. I would say that geospatial industry, and when I use the word industry, I actually include everyone like public policy, government, commercial companies. Like we call mining industry, tourism industry. We don't make a distinction in mining industry who is government and who is private. So we as a geospatial industry has a big opportunity and big role to play in taking our country forward, and making a country for our next generation as well, better country for next generation. And last, I wanted to say that the trends are very clear from everywhere I go, is that collaborative workflows is not only adding value to the economy and society, but that is the only way to stay relevant in business too. Thank you very much.